Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to Shaving with Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. How y'all? Got to be a reoccurring theme in these videos, eh? Oh well, I get hung in ruts every once in a while, but it'll be okay. Alrighty, so it's about 3:55 on Wednesday afternoon, and it's Wednesday. And do we know what that means? Yes, we do. Williams Wednesday. So today is going to be vintage Williams, just because that's what I grabbed. And I keep my vintage Williams in the old scuttle here. Now, I don't know if everybody's seen a scuttle, so we'll kind of explain this. You put your hot water in the bottom here, and then you could soak your brush. And these were, from around when there wasn't a lot of running water or anything, and that was how you would soak your brush, and that's my theory anyway. These particular scuttles, we're going to pour the water out because I've actually got a sink of water too. These particular scuttles are not the ones that you would warm the lather as you went along. That's a completely different type of scuttle, and these don't warm anything. If you want to warm something in a scuttle like this, you got to stick it in the oven, and I don't, anyway, don't see that being a good thing. So, razor today. This is a 1907-ish Jim Jr. It says Jim Jr. there on the back, Jim Cutlery Company. I've actually got the striping attachment and everything for this one. This is actually one of the very better of the sets I have. It's a really nice set. And Jayara from over at Toast actually found an old ad from 1907 that was advertising this set. So that's how we date it to 1907. So, works for me. 1907 Jim Jr. Lovely. And we're going to finish up today with what do they call that there? The Classic Vanilla. Pinaud Classic Vanilla. It's just really good stuff. And some people I know like to have aftershaves and colognes that go together. If you like that, get some Canoe cologne to go with the Classic Vanilla aftershave there, and you will be very happy with the results, I think. Alright, let's get this here show on the road for Williams Wednesday. And I worked day shift yesterday and was off till night shift tonight, so I've got a decent little road. Now what I'm expecting to happen here is this is usually a very audible razor. You can hear these things working, and hopefully we can get some of that today, because I just love the sound of a razor zipping off whiskers like that. I don't know why, but a loud razor is just a fan of mine, and a lot of these old lather catchers and things of that nature are just loud. Even up to my, I've got a 1915 patent date Camp Star, and it's generally a loud razor also, and that's when they were transitioning into the, it's got the closed cap on it, going into the newer style blades were the norm coming into then. That's what they were getting over into. But anyway, and you notice we didn't bloom it. The water is in it in here to soak the brush with, so there's no blooming on the Williams. There's a reason for that. All right, here we go. Oh, let's see what we got. So, I don't know how old this particular Williams is, but it's old enough that it had tallow as the main ingredient, the first ingredient. And that's what you look for when you're looking for the vintage Williams. Make sure it's got that tallow to start with. Because I have to admit, I'm a Williams guy, and I like using the modern Williams just fine. I think it's great. I think it does a good job. But I can understand where people who prefer vintage Williams come from. It is a very nice product, I agree. Now, again, that being said, nothing wrong with the modern. Oh, wait, we gotta have another sip of that. Boy, boy, boy. Spend all day in bed, and first thing you want is coffee. Well, let's see what we get here with the good old 1907. And this has a new blade in it. This is a CVS and Walgreens have a blade by a company called Accutek now. And my understanding is Accutek now owns what was the old ASR company. So the old treat razors and pile blades and all that stuff that were made by ASR and all, that's now owned by a company called Accutek is my understanding. And they're the ones that make these blades for CVS, Walgreens. And it is still a great blade, by the way. Sometimes when companies change hands like that, I know things go kind of sideways and wonky, and didn't seem to happen this time. I'm just as happy using these blades as I am the original treats. They're still smooth. Do a wonderful job here. There's your chin. All right, first shave, first round down there. Looks pretty good. And I don't know why I'm doing that rag. We ain't gonna rinse off. We're gonna go right back in that straight one here. Sometimes I get to talking and get lost. It happens. Now if you go back and you're gonna, if you face lather, and always, basically always face lather, and you go back and right now the lather's a little thick, just barely dip the brush tips in the end of the water there. If you were still using the scuttle, you could dip it just barely down into the scuttle and do the same thing. Kind of the point. Until you get it where you like it. Just about like that, I think is great. Alright, we're going to come back across for an across the grain pass. That first pass is pretty much all with the grain. Now you'll notice I go different directions in different places, and that's because I know my beard grows different directions in different places. One thing to remember, if you're having problems with irritation and everything with your shaves, and you just can't figure it out, if you think your angle is good and you think your touch is light, no pressure, angle and pressure, remember those are the two big things. Try making sure you know which way your beard's growing. Just because you start in one direction going with the grain doesn't mean that somewhere further down that doesn't turn into against the grain, and then you're trying to go against the grain, and that's where the irritation can come from. So if you're having a lot of problems, check that out. You can feel around and see which way things are going. You might even try using a little witch hazel. Flash a little witch hazel on when you're trying to feel around on your beard before you shave to see which direction everything's growing. I don't know why, but the witch hazel seems to help with that. Of course, we all know I use witch hazel on my cleanup pass, and I think it helps me feel where I need to go back and you know, get a little touch up. So when you're going through and you're trying to see which direction your beard's growing, that's a little generic witch hazel. It doesn't have to be the expensive stuff. Although if you like the Thayers or if you like the Dickinson, knock it out. I just get a regular old dollar store type generic witch hazel. It works fine. So we'll get us a little strokes across here. All right, this little spot up behind the ear there. And that's pass number 2 on Williams Wednesday. Do it every Wednesday. Wednesday. Put it on your calendar. Generally speaking, if it's Monday, it's menthol. If it's Tuesday, it's tobacco. And if it's Wednesday, it's Williams. Now, I say generally speaking because there are always exceptions to most of all that. About the only thing I generally don't make an exception on is the Williams. And since they changed me from day to night shifts, sometimes my Williams Wednesday is technically early Thursday morning. But, you know, we won't talk about that. Technically, when you're a night person, that's still Wednesday night. Alrighty, let's get a little witch hazel out here since we were talking about it. See how we did here. Feels pretty good, actually. Feels pretty good. Good. It's like we're gonna go back and hit the normal kind of areas we touch up down in front of that ear there, under our neck. Careful we're not scrubbing and buffing too hard, because then you end up with irritation. We don't want irritation. Come down, make sure you got that lip cleaned up, because that's important to have that lip cleaned up. It drives me nuts. Talk about something ye highs, as the old saying goes. Right. And then let's run down. I can't remember if I came down by this ear, so I'm going to, because I know that's somewhere you always need to dress up. All right. I think that right there is good. Now, one drawback, if you want to consider the drawback, I don't. Some people consider the drawback that with these carbon steel blades, you do need to dry them after every use in the razor. If not, they'll certainly rust. But it doesn't take but a few minutes to dry them, and you're done. You just take them and pop them out of the razor, whichever razor you might be using. Now, I just take a towel and I hold it on the end that's got the spine on it, and you just run through there and you dry it off. You take your old razor and you do the same thing with it. You just give it a quick dry there. Don't hook the towel on the blade stops. And then you can stick the blade back in. Now, I'm not going to stick the blade back in this one, because this one's going to go back in its case and the blade will go into something else. But anyway, it's not hard to sit there and dry blades. It's just part of the routine, part of the cleanup after the shave. I mean, you got to wash and dry the brush and all that kind of good stuff, and put everything away, so it doesn't take very long to dry the blade. But anyway, nice shave today. Williams Wednesday with the vintage Williams and a vintage scuttle, which I really like. I've got a couple of those scuttles. The brush I didn't mention is a Semogue 1460. Really nice little bore brush, and I've shown this off before. I just think it's really crazy to look at. But the Semogue here has just got these crazy looking bristles on it. That's the only one I've seen that ever had those crazy looking bristles on it. But boy, it does, doesn't it? But it whips up Williams or any other soap that I use it on just great. Great stuff. All right, well, I got to finish getting ready for work. We're going to get this one in under 13 minutes. Y'all have a good day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and happy shaves.